we go. All right. Well, welcome host team. We are more than off and running. And so we have a lot to share, to celebrate, to catch up on, and to kind of look at as we're moving into the next month together, as well as talking about Hamida's party, which is so very quickly, no, we have to be mindful of time today, so we don't have time for long sharing stories, but I would love everyone to share their name and also one celebration that you have, either from an interaction that you had with the family directly, or if you haven't had that chance, something that stood out to you on the thread that you were glad to hear about, even though you weren't part of that particular celebration, because we're all part of all the things working together. So whoever would like to go, you can jump in.
Well, I'll go first. My celebration is just enjoying getting to know Ali better as I've been driving him back and forth to things, and having a nice time with the family after I'm done. He always invites me in for tea and for almonds. So I just love it, even though we kind of sit in uncomfortable silence sometimes. I have to tell a cute story. The latest thing was we were talking about recipes, and he had a favorite dish, and I showed him online, and he said he had a certain meat that he liked, and it was dog sun. And I was like, oh, maybe you mean baby cow? Do you mean veal? Yes, that's what he meant. And we had a big laugh, so it was really cute.
I'll go. I'm Sue, and I've just thoroughly enjoyed, time together and interacting, and the sense of humor they all have. Just really enjoy every minute.
I enjoyed my encounter with them. I haven't been as active lately, but especially helping getting the kids registered for school, and just being able to spend a couple of hours with Ali, and using the translator app, hoping that things are coming through reasonably well. But I think my funny story was, at some point the school district had to ask about whether they had ever done farm work or worked with animals. And we were both just laughing at, why is that important? Why does the school need to know that? But so yeah, just a lovely family, and happy to be of help to them.
Hi, I'm Bill, and was it yesterday? I guess it was. I dropped off a Chromecast so that their TV would have more than 6 channels to watch, and just happened while I was there, Hamida and Gafur and all of their crew were dropping by, and I think I don't know if this was the main reason, but one reason they were there was that Gafur was bringing Ali's work permit, which is really exciting, and they could just tell how excited he was about that. So that was really neat.
Hi, this is Tanya. I don't know if I turned on my video correctly. I just downloaded Zoom, so can you see me or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I did it properly. My interaction was a couple weeks ago. I had signed up to teach Masuma how to ride a bike, and so she giggled when we were practicing, and just that pure laughter, giggling. It was wonderful. We ran out of time. I said I would come back, and when I offered the following Saturday, at that point she already knew. So they were like, "Thank you very much." She's mastered it. So it was wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Christy, and I have had several interactions with the whole family. The children are delightful. They also have such great senses of humor. And today, I was surprised to find Hamida and Gafur there when I got home. But Massimo, I took her to the doctor's appointment, came home, and they were all, the whole family in the living room, and Marissa was there, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful time to see them and see how these two families interact and how close they are to each other.
I'm Anne Marie, and I I had a fun interaction with them on Sunday night. We had their family over for pizza dinner, along with my one of my daughters and her two youngsters. There's a 3-year-old girl and a 1-year-old girl, and I wanted to make it clear that there was no pork. And I said, "There's no pork because my daughter and her husband, they're vegetarians." And they looked at me, "What does that mean?" And I said, "They don't eat meat." And oh my gosh, they laughed so hard. Why? and I said, "I know, sometimes I wonder the same thing." So we had a really good time. And the two older girls were really taken with my 1-year-old granddaughter with her blue eyes. They've seen us adults, some of us with blue eyes, but the baby blue eyes, oh my gosh. And they were carrying around all over my house. It was very sweet. It was a really wonderful interaction. We can't hear you.
I'll unmute it. Karen, I missed the part about it being online, so we're heading home to actually get on Zoom at home. But we hadn't had much interaction except for to help move the family in the day of moving the furniture in. So last week I had an abundance of vegetables, and I sent them a WhatsApp message and asked them if they'd like some, and they were excited. And so we brought some over, and it was a really fun visit. They gave us tea and nuts, and it was, I think, a nice opportunity for them to practice English. We sat around and conversed and used a translator sometimes, and we are planning on taking them this week to get library cards.
And they have an Excel bill now. So I will write that down. That is easier than like a 30-page lease to take for proof of address.
Yeah, I didn't know what they might have. It says on the website to bring a picture ID and some proof of address. So
Yeah, so I'll send you the bill, and then they have it's so great to have passports this time around. I don't know who's on iPhone. If you want to speak up, we'd love to hear from you.
That is Bobby. My
Yeah.
phone somehow thinks that I need safe driving mode as I sit here in my kitchen. So it won't let me turn on the video, and I have to tap on it to tell it that I'm safe to speak. So
I'm gonna
sorry,
try something.
yes. Okay, let's see if that works.
There you
Oh, there you go. I don't know if you can see me or not because I can't see you now.
Yes, we can
Okay.
see you.
Cool. And hopefully my head's not cut off because I can't see me nor you. Anyway, but I'm safe driving in the kitchen. Anyway, I helped the kids get their bikes, and I have to say the look of joy when they jumped on those bikes and started to, take off, especially the youngest one. Oh God, what's his name? Nida. Because we hadn't anticipated getting him a bike. He was going to do the trailer bike thing.
Her,
But
with the shoe.
but we ended up being able to get him a tiny bike with training wheels, and he was in heaven. It was so much fun to see, because he had a bike too, like the other kids. He didn't have, just the trailer bike. He actually had a bike too. And he was just all about, let's get on that. Let's learn how to do this. Let's do this now. And it was fun to watch.
Bobby, it's a her, not a
Oh.
he.
Is it a her?
She's a girl,
Yes.
she's a little girl.
She
I'm
has
sorry.
short-
The tiniest one.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. She looked like, it would look like boy clothing. So, okay. Sorry.
Awesome. Well, I'm Marissa, and I missed them last week because I was really sick. And so today I got to go and spend time with them, and it was really lovely because I feel like I'm always time bound, and then I don't get to really just then have that, oh, no, we're just chatting and hanging out. And so I got to have that today. Papa was picking up my kids from school, so I actually went to pick up the kids from school, and we went on foot with Nida, but man, they are zooming. They were like, shoo, and they'd fly ahead and stop at the stop sign, and then we'd walk. And so it's really cool to see that come full circle, and that was just really nice. And then Hamida and Gafoor came by, so I got to see them, and that was really nice too. All right, so I'm going to share some celebrations, and then we're going to talk some team things and things that are coming up. So I just want to say some of these things out loud, because the amount of things that have happened today is the 20th. They moved in July 20th. It has been 1 month since
wow.
they moved in. 1 month. Okay. Ali has his EAD, and they all have, well, we're tracking down Muhammad social security card. They all have social security cards. Masuma's EAD has been applied for. Folks have stepped up with offering odd jobs or making connections for odd jobs, and that means so much to them. Bikes, like, what a big deal to have transportation, to get to do that, to feel reliable going to school and independent. We have the amount of work it took to get school launched was huge, and so many people were involved with all of those pieces. So thank you so much for that, and really great connection and communication from school staff already with what they're noticing and what they can offer and help support with this, and drawing our team into that. So school is really off to a strong start. Health things, there have been so many appointments, dental and vision and medical things, and establishing care. I don't remember if I already said that Gafoor got the kids onto Medicaid, so that's another win. Other things, apartment updates, rugs, rug pads, cushions for the floor, because that's part of, how they like to be in their space. So they've got cushions. Today, while I was there, someone came to fix a cracked window. We have worked tirelessly to track down a handyman to get the oven fixed, and it is scheduled for tomorrow. Everyone say a prayer that comes through.
Yes.
They have had a first thrifting experience. They've learned about the Dollar Tree, which is walkable to their house. They have started English work through Intercambia with their teacher. They call you our teacher, Anne Marie. She is teaching them as an instructor through Intercambia, and is able to be their teacher. They have internet. They have internet. They have a computer. They have Chromecast. So many, I know I'm forgetting things, but so many things. Learning to ride a bike, that's amazing that Masuma is already was like, I declined your further lesson because I already have done this. So Sister Carmen, they are set up and going regularly to Sister Carmen and have been really satisfied with that. When I check in with them about, do you need someone to grocery shop? They feel that they have access to food that is fitting their needs. They got new school, I heard from different people on the team, oh, we need shoes, oh, water bottles, different things. And so getting all those last minute things set up for school happened also. So I just want to say all those things out loud so that you hear how much has happened in 1 month and how people's fingerprints are all over. So please just give a little celebration with me right now for all of those things. Excuse me. Also, I know some people, the Google Calendar is sometimes tricky, but overall, it is more and more people are having success using it, seeing it, adding events to it. And I think that has seemed to be really helpful tool so that people know when they're definitely already busy and not to offer overlapping times. So thank you for that as well. Anne Marie?
Do Ali and Masumi have access to that calendar so they know what's going on?
No, that one is a team calendar for us, like as a communication tool for us. So far, I mean, I think they have their own organizational skills that they're using whatever works for them, because I have yet to see or hear of anything where they didn't remember an appointment or weren't ready for someone or didn't know what was happening. Even when we went over Whitney put together all the school things, and felt like so much, and she was like, this is a lot, and they're like, it's fine. It doesn't feel like we've got it. I do know that they are have said, I feel like our whole life is appointments. Like they have so many appointments. And that's noted and hard. And so yeah. Okay. Any other major things I missed someone wants to celebrate before I shift a little? Okay. Just as we have so many moving parts, I want to do a little housekeeping for the team. And I mentioned calendar overall. I think that is going well. If you're having trouble still with the calendar, please let me know so that we can get you hooked up. And sometimes it's just checking permissions or doing it on a computer instead of a phone. But we so far are figuring that out. And I'm happy to help you with that. WhatsApp, we have a number of different threads going. Some people have joined different threads. I think everyone here is in at least one subgroup. The subgroups that have been active have been really helpful for people. That's a little bit better space to have a little more conversation or planning around things that you're coordinating across a small group of people. So for example, I see it, especially like the education and the medical teams, where they'll be like, this is the appointment we just went to, here's like the next steps. We need to make appointments. Can someone do that? Or I made appointments. Can someone drive to them? And coordinating without using the full group. There's like 30 of us or something, 25 to 30 team members. So the whole group thread, we want to keep those conversations off there just so that people's phones don't blow up if they're not part of that conversation. So if you have a question specific or a suggestion, send that to me, and then I can help filter out who and which team should that go towards, or update you if something has happened, because a lot of times things are happening in different places. So I'm happy to help clarify things. But I think the group thread is really good for announcements, reminders. I think everyone gives really strong feedback around pictures or celebrations or just sharing like things that are happening. We have people who only do behind the scenes things, and that's a chance for them to get a human glimpse of things. And so that's a really lovely space for that, to help people feel connected, or people who, I love it when people are on vacation and they're like, this is making me so happy. I am on a different continent and cannot partake, but I am so excited to hear the updates. So updates, celebrations, announcements, great place for that. I just made a driver subgroup. One challenge that we're having is just, I feel sometimes like I'm not exactly sure who is willing to drive, and I don't want to flood the whole group text because some people that's not going to work for them. So if you are willing to drive, I mean, and it could be any time of day, because sometimes it's daytime, weekday stuff. And I know some of us are working and you can't do that. But sometimes, like, a lot of its dental appointments have been on the weekend, and other things could be in the evening. But if you're willing to drive and you can join that pool, that's especially going to be helpful for me to make asks. I try to keep it like in the sub team if I can. Like if it's medical, I try to go to the same medical people, but sometimes no one is available. And rather than canceling a medical appointment or canceling, like, I need drivers for the permit DMV appointment next week, rather than having to cancel or reschedule, I'd love just to know these are all the people who do not mind me asking them to drive, even if you can't say yes. So if you can join the driver subgroup, if that is at all something that might be part of what you can volunteer, please do that so that I have somewhere besides the group chat to put that out there. Kathleen, yes.
I have a question. We're not sure if we're going to drive or try and walk to the library. But if we were to drive, is the little Nita in a car seat?
Yes, that is on my list of things to talk about tonight as well, is boosters and car seats.
Okay.
So I'll just say, so Nita needs a car seat, Muhammad needs a booster seat. So if either of the two little ones are in your car, they need to be in those safety seats. Today I brought them a smaller booster seat that is way easier to move around. And especially since he's school age, he's needs some rides for school, or he needed to go shopping for clothes for school. The booster, like, honestly, it doesn't even have to be clicked in. It can just be set so that the seat belt is at a safe point on his body, because without the booster, it's up here. And so even if the booster is wiggling, it's not about the 5-point harness, it's about positioning on his body for the seatbelt and for the airbags in vehicles. So he needs to be in the booster. He now has a little bit smaller profile, easy to move around one. And they do have another booster that they can keep in their car once they have their car, and a car seat for Nita. She needs to be in a car seat. She can face forward. But those are really important, both for us as then drivers assuming that responsibility and of course their safety, but also for us to help teach them the US expectations around these things, not just expectations, but laws. And that, we know there are ramifications for not following those. So by us modeling doing those things in our own vehicles, we can help remind them, yes, when you are driving, you also need to have them in these things. So thanks for bringing that up, Kathleen. Yes, Christy? We can't hear you.
It's because my dog's barking. Do they have a car seat for Nita? Because when she came in my car, they used the booster. And that's not okay, huh?
That's not okay. No. You need to be like over 40 pounds to be in a booster.
Okay.
No, so we have provided a car seat and a full back booster, and now they also have a small portable booster. So asking if you're in that position, asking and finding it, if it got left somehow at Gafor and Hamadas, I don't know. But she is not a booster kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
I think that's definitely like a cultural expectation, well, isn't that better than not a car
Oh.
seat, right? Like, but she needs to be in a 5-point full-on car seat.
Marissa, just for future reference, I have both in my car all the time
Cool. Great.
because of the grandkids, so.
Yeah, same. Sue, were you talking?
no, I just wanted to mention that the numerous times, I've asked if they have a car seat and they say no. That it's always been that Mohammed sits just buckled in and the booster was used for Nita, and they said, that's fine. And I said, well, I think you need a car seat. And they said, we do not have one. And that's always the answer that I'm given.
All right, I will talk to them in the morning, and because I'm going to see them in the morning and help look for that, maybe show them the ones in my car and explain again the difference and find out if they don't have the car seat in their apartment, then that means it's at Gafor and Hamadas. Because we did give them one of each way back when they were still in Denver. Like immediately. But it is so like it is like so not a part of other cultures that they probably are like, that is the car seat, isn't it? I mean, it looks like and he of course he's big enough to ride with just a seatbelt. That's like way past the norm other places to ride with just a seatbelt. So when they say it's okay, like for them, it seems like it is okay, but it's not okay by Colorado law.
Thank you.
And honestly, and I know that it's somewhat hands-off for some things about what laws they follow and don't, but if you're the driver, you will be held responsible. But as them hoping to gain citizenship in the future, they have to show good character. And a speeding ticket doesn't matter. But not having your child in a car seat makes you look like not the kind of person we want to have become a citizen. It's not an absolute, but it will be a very negative thing on their record.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things that is very part of US culture that we look a very specific way on. I was like, I had to explain all this to Camila the other day because she asked 10,000 questions. And I was like, well, it's not only do we have more laws, but the way that we enforce and punish people for not following our laws is totally different. Like other places, maybe there is a law, but if you don't follow it and your kid gets hurt, well, like that's the natural consequence. Like not now, we also will hammer you with other terrible consequences. So
Do
yeah.
you know, or is it, does Hamida and Gafoor, do they adhere to the whole seat, the car seat? I'm just wondering if maybe that's where, it was passed on that it was okay, possibly.
They were always using car seats both in our car and in their car. I think I had more trouble trying to convince them to like, it's best practice to face backwards, safety wise, and this is not just them, but many of my peers, like the particular level of tightness on a car seat is like, there's like a very right way to do it. And a lot of people just like clip it together and call it good. But like, so that trying to get them to that level of safety, I don't think I ever quite made it to like how I would buckle my child into a car seat, but they definitely were using them for their own kids.
Okay.
And their own kids are a lot younger.
Yes, yeah. And they also have a convertible car seat for Dunya that can grow with her as she needs to. But yeah, right now, that's not what we can control, but we can, since we are in charge of transportation, modeling and teaching along the way, those expectations, I think is within our realm of what we can do for Ali and Masuma.
Marissa, I know you probably have an agenda, but at some point I would also like to just briefly address the practice of Ali and Masuma leaving the kids at home, and how and some experiences in the last 3 weeks that I've run into, and how I feel about that as somebody that knows that I'm part of leaving them alone. Okay, if we could just talk about that at some point, and the Colorado expectations that a child under 12 is not to be left alone.
Yes, let's loop back to that. I do think that that's important, Sue. I want to close, I want to make sure I say everything about just how our team is working together and some updates on that. So the driver pool calendar, most people are doing great at this, but please keep me in the loop, especially as there's so many threads of things. So, if it's something, some people are doing like one-off things. That's easy, like, okay, I'm gonna, I have the computer, when can I get the computer? Okay, let's do it after they have Wi-Fi. It doesn't make sense to try to set it up without Wi-Fi. Okay, now there's Wi-Fi. All right, ready, green light, go. And then, okay, here's the status with that and checking in on any follow-ups, for example. Other things are going to be ongoing things, like every week they're going back to Sister Carmen, or they're obviously school is like a constant running thing. Medical appointments have so many follow-ups. When I've noticed that when people update me and share like, here's the follow-up of what happened, here are some next steps, or just checking in, they're going regularly, or we're having English, we are meeting for English class 2 times a week, and that's our plan this month, or whatever it is. If you can just keep me abreast of that, that's really helpful. Otherwise, I'm like, I have no idea what the status is, and it's hard because we are doing this as a team to not know where things fall, and be able to green light other things that are kind of waiting in the wings or maybe a lesser priority. And to that extent as well, checking in with me before scheduling or green lighting like a new type thing is very helpful, because there might be, things we have scheduled and we don't have drivers for them. So before we schedule a more optional thing or another thing, let's all work together as a team to make sure we're all moving at the same time. And then this is always a reminder of like our team kind of way of being. Of course, we're doing pretty well with being very flexible, I think, and remembering always to step up, step back. We have people who will let me know we're out of town, or we have this going on with my family. I need to step back. Or other people who, if you are feeling like I'm having trouble jumping in, please reach out and say, I have capacity, but I'm not sure where to step in or where there's a need. I had someone who say, I want to help, but like, I don't know what's going on. If you're in a sub team that's got a lot going, you are someone who's pretty clued in on that. If you're not in that group, it can be really hard. So, thinking about how do we work as a team, especially when, like, if you're seeing someone, let's say that you had an appointment, or you drove them somewhere, or you went shopping, or you whatever, and then they bring up something else that's on their mind, it can feel so easy to then like try to address that yourself and like follow up on it, which there's nothing wrong with that. And that could be an entry point for someone else who isn't yet able to plug in. So if I were working on, I'm grocery shopping every week with them, but then he's bringing up, oh, I need whatever, whatever.
Good night,
You know,
Mama.
I'm,
Good
good night, I
mommy.
love you.
What do we day?
I don't know.
What?
See you in the morning. So it can be easy, of course, if it's like, oh, well, I didn't. We want to apply for this benefit while I'm grocery shopping with you. If you can loop that back to me, and then I can try to pull in someone who maybe doesn't have a job and you can keep focusing on whatever you're focusing on, that can be a really good way for us to work as a team. Just because it can easily snowball where accidentally 6 people are doing 75% of the things and other people want to, but don't quite know where to fit in. So as we work as a whole team, just let's keep that in mind. Both saying, hey, I haven't had a chance for a while. When there's a chance to drive, please let me know. Or I'm working on school, Sister Carmen, and shopping for groceries. Like, I bet I could probably pass one of these threads to a different team member and give them an opportunity, and I'll choose to focus on X, for example. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. And then the other ask that's related to that is we are luckily in a position right now where although there are definite priorities, although there are things that are really important, there are no like red level emergencies happening. So help me and help us remember sometimes that while things are important, very little is actually rising to like an urgent status. I can get that feeling sometimes of like, oh, you're right, we need to figure that out too. And can you do these next steps because I happen to be talking to you right now? So if you also help me notice like, let's add this to the list. Let's look at it next to all the other things, and then let's figure out the best next step in conjunction with all of that. That's helpful too, because I think we all are like, you know, the oven is still not fixed. And how many people need to call? Or this is missing, or this is a need, like, and they are real needs. And we don't all have to work on them at the same time. And there are other needs at this, it floating in the atmosphere of the team as well. Any questions on that? Okay. 2 more things. One, Ali's main priority right now is work. He has his EAD. We got to talk about different types of work. He is extra interested in things construction related and landscaping related. He is not interested in driving in hotels or restaurants or dishwashing or cleaning. He is not, I think he's not interested in retail, but also retail without further English skills could be also challenging. But he was interested in construction and in landscaping. So if this is like a subgroup we don't have yet, is trying to look for work, whether it is working on a resume with him because some applications require that. If it is helping him honestly drive around and look for landscape crews and construction crews and making a like walking up and saying, are you hiring? Because that's how a lot of those laborer positions get filled versus like Indeed.com. So things like that. If you have connections in those industries, and you can check and see if anyone is looking for workers. But if you're interested in working with him on finding a full-time job, That is his main priority right now. Masuma is very interested in working. She does not have her permit yet. But any idea, like, I think it's been hard for her to see Ali get odd jobs. And she has said many times, like, anything he can do, I can do, which my brain wants to say better because of that song. Anything he can do, better. She wants to work and she is capable, and Ghafoor and Ali today were sharing in Iran. Hamida and Masuma were the ones who were working full-time, and the guys were getting only part-time work. She feels like an untapped resource. So if you have odd jobs and things for her to do, consider offering it to her, or throwing things her way, even after, of course, Ali gets full-time work. Yes.
I have one thing that came to my mind this past week was when she gave me a brick of bread, which I consumed immediately. I think it would be awesome, Marissa. I'd have her over here. In fact, I want to have her over here next week sometime to help to teach me. I said, will you teach me to make your bread? But we could sell her bread.
Yeah.
I mean, before she actually gets a job, you know, I would be happy to have her over here once a week, make a bunch of bread and offer it at CTS or someplace where people would give a donation, so we don't get stuck in the middle of it being a business and having to have a commercial, you know, oven, whatever. But, you know, just off the top of my head, she could sell that bread. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you've tasted it, right? Everybody, I think.
Haven't.
Oh my gosh.
I've had little dough balls that they sent a gallon-sized bag home with us, and we ate them within hours.
The bread is amazing. I just want to put that out there, and I'll have her over sometime next week, and I'll have bread available that maybe people can go ahead and purchase, or just, you know, because they know. But I think that's something to pursue, that she could then feel like she's contributing and making some money.
Yeah, I have been wondering about that too, Sue, or something about that, but it hasn't come to like a full idea. But whether it's, we have a bake sale that are her baked goods at church, you know, and even just start one time, and of course all the money just goes to her. She can also use the CTS kitchen, like then there's 2 ovens at the same time. You know, or I was wondering about, like, I think many of us would love to learn how to cook something, or so. Yeah, that's also been floating around in my head. I don't know that I have capacity to lead that effort, but yeah, if someone is feeling like, I know,
I'll
Sue,
just do a
you're
fun-
carrying a lot of pieces right now. I
I'll
hear
just
you.
do a fun day and have her, you know, during school time, have her Anita over and just to teach me, but we'll make a batch and I'll offer it to whoever, you know, and just start with that.
Yeah, and if we go from there, yeah, and if we have advance notice, we can pick a Sunday at CTS where we're gonna, you know, have enough lead time to tell people. That's an easy one to do.
Let me see how it goes this one time next week, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
plug it in.
Take pictures. Okay. The other thing is that next week at this time from 5 to 7, we have Hamida's baby shower. Thank you, Mary Lou, for taking the lead on organizing that. Really appreciate it. Hamida is 5 weeks away, and she's like, I am hot and heavy and ready to not be pregnant anymore.
But at least she's not walking through South America or Central America.
Yes, I'm sure she is very,
Yeah.
attentive to that difference.
Marissa, do you know for the shower that they've invited their friends? Do you know how many friends are coming by chance?
I think it's 2 adults and 2 little girls. Is anyone remembering from Gafor's birthday party? I think it's 2 little girls, maybe 3, and 2
Okay.
adults. It's one family.
It's just one family. Okay.
Yes. And also, like, I plan on bringing my kids. Like Bill, I don't know if your kids are interested or grandkids. Like, if you know, it's at a park, we have the pavilion reserved. We're keeping it pretty simple. If you want to contribute to the group gift, Mary Lou has coordinated the double stroller for them. And if you want to, you know, if you want to bring a gift of your own volition, any adorable baby things or books or whatnot, please feel free to do so. If you want to not do that, please don't feel pressured to do that either. The group gift will be from the group. I'll be putting some host team money towards that too. So you are included in a gift that is being given. And I know sometimes people really like buying baby things.
So just out of curiosity, I was at the dollar store today and I got a card for, but do you want me to just sign it, the host team as far as the stroller? Okay. All right. And I
Good.
also got bubbles for I got, I think about 18 bubble things, but little bubble things. But I don't know if there's going to be more children than that. And I need to go back and get another couple or something. But
do not expect more than that.
okay. And the last thing I was going to ask is the double stroller is in a big box. It's pretty heavy. And I was debating on whether to take it out of the box, but then I thought, well, if she doesn't like it, she'll have the box and she can return it to Walmart and get what she wants. So I'm not sure. I think it's what she was asking for, but does that sound okay for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
It's at Cottonwood, right?
It's at Cottonwood. The paving is supposed to be done by then.
Okay, thank you. That's where I was going.
And I was so glad that we're doing this meeting tonight. And that is next week when I drove past the other day and I saw.
Yes, okay, good.
Oh, that's good. Oh my gosh. It's the and the pavilion, it's like it's covered.
Yep,
It's a covered space. Okay,
it
good.
is. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's got a lovely playground and field and all sorts of things. So
And how many tables does it have for set? I mean, or does it have tables?
it does
Okay.
definitely feel like it has 3 or maybe 4.
I was thinking more like 5 or 6, but
Yeah, it might have 6 because I think it's a hexagon, but also I don't want to overpromise.
That's fine. Well, I got 3 tablecloths, plastic tablecloths. So if we need more, people will just eat at regular picnic tables, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And then if you are able to just get on that Excel sheet, the link is, I will resend it again, but it's in the group announcements. Definitely RSVP. I don't know how much cake to buy yet, but I heard solidly chocolate today when talking to Hum and Gafor. And if you're able to bring something to share for food, then great. Or if you're able to set up or help clean up or something else, great. And if you're just like able to be there at all, great. But please tell me how many people are coming with you or just you or whatever, so that I can have enough cake for everyone.
Can I
Yes.
suggest something?
Yes.
And I know this is Hamida's celebration, but I was wondering if we might consider since it's been 1 month and it'll be a month and a week, maybe what came across to me when I went over one day right before our school started, and Ali read a poem, I don't know if you saw it, from the kindergarten teacher about the jitters of the night before the first day of school. It is a darling, amazing little poem. And what hit me was maybe we could, and I'd be happy to do this, find something that they can start to use as a memory book
Oh,
to put in things from school or stories, or we can, we share amongst ourselves, but maybe they need to hear what we're sharing, that our delight in them, and just a small paragraph or something that they can put into a memory book for their, their first year here, whatever,
mhm.
I don't want to take away from Hamida, but maybe we could present them with just a small memory book idea.
Yeah.
to
I'm
start.
wondering, Mary Lou was planning for us to have something where we could write like notes of
Yes.
love to Hamida. Could we like essentially do that, but for Ali and Mas, like the same thing, but the notes we would write would be some of those like memories and things like that already? Would that work, do you think?
Well,
Yeah,
I
so
don't, yeah, I wasn't suggesting that we have to present it filled. We just present the book so they can start collecting maybe things that come home from school, especially.
Okay. Christy?
I was going to frame the picture too that I took of them the first day of school. The whole family in front of that little bell, the big bell at the elementary school. And that's something maybe we could, instead of me framing it, I can have it made and put in the book that Sue's suggesting. It's a great picture of them.
Great
in
picture.
front of
And that could be
school.
the
Yeah.
kickoff for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get a copy of that picture.
I really like Sue's idea of it being something for them to fill with their memories and such. But we might start collecting things, and we can give it to them halfway through or at the end of the year, their graduation present.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm hearing Mary Lou, you do your thing for Hamida. Sue, can you get some sort of memory book? Christy will make sure we have at least one beautiful picture to launch the book.
Yeah. Just for them to
Okay.
start collecting, yeah.
Awesome. I do want to come back to what Sue brought up, and I don't know if I know totally some of the instances that you have observed. So
Well, let me just share that I went over there to drop off a prescription, and they were at a lawyer's meeting up in Longmont, and the kids were alone, and Neelafar was in charge. And she seemed to have a plan of having the phone there, and the kids were there, but they were alone. And she just, I rang the doorbell and she just opened the door. And that could be anybody. That's a little concerning to me. The second time I went to pick them up, and it was misunderstood that both Christy and I were driving, but Christy was going to meet us at the school. So I'm the only one who arrived. And they thought, well, not everybody can fit in my car if we're getting the kids. So they were going to leave the two young ones. They came out, closed the door, and we're locking it, and we're leaving the two little ones inside. And I said, no, 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 no. Everybody goes. Oh, okay. Oh, everybody? I said, yes, everybody goes. We have two cars. So, but they were willing to leave the two young ones by themselves. So then I went over this week to pick up Ali to go to work, and Monday, and Massima was not back yet from taking the kids to school. I was going to do that, but they said they wanted to ride their bikes. So actually Massima ran alongside them on Monday. Anyway, so I said, and Ali was ready to leave and told Nida to just sit and wait for mother. And I said, no, 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 no. We're going to wait for mother. And so it was just a few minutes. We waited for Massima to come home. And, you know, that he said, I said, you know, not good in the United States, you know, that we don't do that. So I just have a little bit of a concern about that they're so willing to leave the children either with Neelafar or even by themselves. And what are the implications then, should I know that the children are alone, but yet I take the parents with me? And knowing that in Colorado, the expectation is that no child under the age of 12 is to be left unattended from an adult. So that's one of my concerns. The other concern is I don't want to open the door for anybody to have cause to report them
Yeah.
for leaving their children alone. I know that, you know, it seemed that one neighbor complained about noise already, and it seemed to be, you know, not an aggressive complaint, but should they be looking for some reason to point the finger at the family? If someone knows that children are being left unattended, that could be a cause for someone to call social services on them. And I certainly wouldn't want that to happen. So I just thought I would mention it tonight, see what you think,
Mhm.
and leave it with you.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing it up. I definitely did not know about most of those things. Colorado does have the 12-year-old suggestion. It is only a suggestion and a guideline. And so when I had talked to them before about it, and they felt confident with Neelafar, like babysitting the other kids, and we talked about having the phone, etc. The door opening is definitely a concern. Like that felt like it was within parental discretion, given the things that she has been responsible for compared to like a Colorado 12-year-old. You know, I mean, I have middle schoolers babysitting my children. And so that we kind of had talked about, but certainly I think you did the right thing with no, absolutely should we not leave any of the smaller people by themselves. That's a definite that we cannot do that. And so you saying, no, we are not leaving, like, no, they are coming with us, or we are waiting until an adult gets back. Absolutely, you did the right thing. No appointment or whatever engagement would be, you know, so pressing that we don't do that. If you come across that situation again, definitely loop me in sooner than later, because like I would have had a follow-up conversation. Like we had talked about childcare, but what we talked about was very different than these circumstances. And I think we have to approach it with non-judgment and being really clear about this is what the expectation is in the United States. And I do have concern about the implications and the risks, right? Well, beyond what the risk is, the innate risk of if something were to happen, but rather more around, you know, we know that people call about things, and we know that the implications for an immigrant family who's seeking status here or seeking asylum, like that has really big ramifications as well. The other thing is that the neighbor, their direct neighbor has lodged a complaint about noise, and we have taken steps to try to mitigate that. I tried to go over and meet the neighbor. They were not answering or not there. And I do have extra concerns. So while I don't want to overblow the neighbor, I have concerns about the neighbor. I have concerns about their latent xenophobia, and how that was showing up in the way that they made the complaint to the property manager. It was, I had to take a lot of space from that communication, because I am concerned about the neighbor. And if the neighbor saw anything like that, I would not put it past them to run. They ran up the noise complaint, up the flagpole very quickly to high extremes that were out of proportion. And so something like that, has other kinds of concerns, I think is very risky. And so I will talk to them about the leaving the kids alone. But if you come into any casual conversation around it or situation where that's happening, please reinforce, in Colorado, you cannot leave them alone. I don't,
Marissa,
yeah,
but do you mean none of the kids alone, or is it okay if Neelafar is in charge of the younger ones?
that one feels, I still feel worried about the neighbor and their perception. That one feels a little bit different, although I do think we need to talk about safety and opening the door and things like that. Like if the kids are home alone, you do not open the door. Kind of a thing, because if someone else were at the door, like I'm not particularly worried about child abduction, but I am worried about what someone's opinion would be of the situation and what they would do. I think the more we can err on, let us only leave the kids home alone with Neelafar in charge only as a last resort. Let's try to not have that be necessary. But if it is, then that would be the circumstance that feels most acceptable. Does that, what, you can disagree with me.
I think that sounds very reasonable.
I think as long as we caution her about the safety issues too. The other thing is if, like the first time they left them alone like that, I think was for the lawyer's appointment, because they both had to go. And I think in the future, if we know that they both have to go somewhere, I would certainly be happy to go over there and hang out.
Yeah,
Then
and I
think
did
they're-
ask them, like, could we provide a volunteer to stay with them? And they said no. They said we don't need that help. Like, that was not. So
Is it
that's what
possible,
it came up the first time.
Yeah.
is it
No,
possible for
I mean,
the,
that's why I brought it up now, because I know you had shared that before, that they didn't want.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so.
But I think in their minds, with their experience and with where they're coming from, that felt like, why would I, like, why do I need that? But
Marissa, is it possible for the kids to go with them and have coloring things and
Have 2 cars. We'd have to have 2 cars. Which is fine. But
yeah,
Christy,
I
you
think
didn't have a-
most of the lawyer appointments should be able to be done online now. Now
Okay.
they have internet, they have a computer, and the translator joined on Zoom anyway. They had to have initial appointments in person and for like establishing relationship and rapport, and then also for signing things. But I think that that is less necessary now. So definitely if you
This is
hear
such a
any-
difficult one.
yeah,
Because the kids, I'm sure in their minds, the kids are safer now than they have been in years.
years.
You
And
know,
objectively they are.
including the
Like-
little one, just so much safer now than they've been in years that it's hard to fathom that. Yeah. We need these extra pieces.
Yeah. Okay, we are past time, and I know a few folks are staying on the call to talk about dental, making a
Yes.
plan for dental needs. But I just want to once more affirm and thank all of you for all the wonderful things you've offered into the team and the family. And I hope you hear, I try to share sometimes things like I get to hear a lot of thank yous and gratitude that is really, really to the whole team. And I want to especially say that the kids in school is a huge, like, not only did it take a lot of work and it's complicated to do it, and it's great they're in school, but the significance of their kids being in school, I don't think I understand all the way. And to know that if they were in Afghanistan, the girls would not be in school is really, I mean, they carry that awareness so clearly. And there's so much pain with having had to leave. But Ali put in really beautifully just about how on the first day of school and seeing the kids go, and he said he felt like a child's joy and was overwhelmed with what that meant for their family. And so I just wanted to make sure people get to hear those kinds of things. You know, the dignity of having work and the jobs that they've had so far, even those, you know, a few hours here and there, that brings so much dignity to a person's life, and addressing significant health things that have been lingering and building for years. Like that is really, those are all really significant things. And then I love too that even now a month in, I'm hearing little things about coming over for pizza and gardening, sharing garden bounty, because that type of just community, and Cora wants to crochet little toys for the kids. Like those moments of humanity and connection and just neighborliness is also, I mean, that's part of what makes this their new home, you know, and for us to be in relationship and not just people who are doing things for them. So God bless each of you.
Well, and thank you, Marissa, for your
Yes,
leadership.
Marissa. Yes,
Exactly.
you are the heavy lifter, Marissa, in all of this.
Mhm.
Yes, you are.
Coordinator. All right. Well, if you are not staying on to talk about teeth, I bless and release you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Marissa, I just want to say that I will make a dental appointment. I think Neelafar is in need, and I will do that as soon as she has seen the doctor.
Yeah.
She has to do that first,
One
so.
thing. Yeah. Little by little by little. Thanks,
Bye.
Christy.
Hey, before we jump into teeth,
Yes.
could I just, I was just wondering,
Hold on one second. I'm going to stop the recording because not everyone needs to learn about teeth. Okay.
Marissa, does the landlord know about the Wi-Fi tower thing, the on the roof? Was that okayed?
I don't know anything about, they had to put a Wi-Fi tower on the roof.
Well, not a tower, but a dish. Yeah,
Oh,
I
don't
was there
know.
when I was over there while they came that day, and they have a dish on the roof, and then they